Hi, my name is Chase Palumbo. Welcome to episode 2 of the Phillies Sports Podcast. Today I'll be going over news from the Eagles, news from the Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers. So first, with the Eagles. The Eagles had a disappointing season last year as they finished 11-6 in the regular season and were smoked 32-9 as a 3-point road favorite against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild card round of the playoffs. However, in 2022, Jalen Hurts finished second in MVP voting behind Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Hurts wasn't in the discussion last year despite throwing for more than 3,858 yards and 23 touchdowns. This is more than the season before for when he had 3,701 yards passing and 22 touchdowns. Um, he finished for less than 155 rushing yards last season and played 2 more games. He did have some injuries though, with a lingering shoulder pain and an MCL issue throughout the season. However, during the offseason, the Eagles did make some big moves in free agency. They signed all-pro running back Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants and added pass rusher defensive end Bryce Huff, formerly with the New York Jets, and they brought back cornerback C.J. Gardner-Johnson, adding much depth to the secondary. He had a injury-plagued season with the Lions, but he did play for the Eagles in 2022. General Manager Howie Roseman also extended Landon Dickerson to a long-term deal, as well as A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith also receiving extensions, which is keeping the one of the best wide receiver duos in the league right now for at least the next in Philadelphia for at least the next 3 seasons. They also did take a major hit though with the retirement of center Jason Kelsey. Um, the Eagles' odds for over/under win of these odds were provided by FanDuel. They have 10 point. Their over/under is 10.5 wins, and the first game will be in Brazil against the Packers Friday, September 6th. The Eagles' Super Bowl odds are plus 1,400. The Eagles have the 7th best odds to win the Super Bowl behind the 49ers, Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals, Lions, and Bills. The Eagles are minus 210 to make the playoffs. Um, if Hurts does suffer from a major injury, though, that will be catastrophic for their playoff odds. Um, they are the favorite to win the NFC East division at odds of plus 115 behind the Cowboys, who are plus 130. They have plus 700 odds to win the NFC. They have the fourth shortest odds to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl behind the 49ers, Lions, and Cowboys, who ironically are known for choking in the playoffs. Next, let's go to the Phillies. So, last night, the Phillies lost to the Rockies 3-2 in extra innings. Um, the starting pitchers for both sides were starting for the Phillies, Christopher Sanchez, and Ty Block starting for the Rockies. Christopher Sanchez has an ERA on the season of 3.15, and Ty Block with an ERA of 4.55 on the season. Um, today, last night, the Christopher Sanchez had 2 strikeouts, and he allowed 0 home runs, but allowed 7 hits. Ty Block allowed 5 hits. He had 2 strikeouts and allowed 2 home runs. So, let's go. Throughout the first 4 innings, no offense was generated from both teams. However, this ended. Well, no scoring was generated from both teams throughout the first 4 innings. The first hit of the game was first hit of the game was in the bottom of the second, where Rockies in the bottom. The first hit of the game was in the bottom of the second, where Rocky. Rockies. The first hit of the game was in the bottom of the second, and it was a double. Were Rockies. Where Rockies left fielder Jordan Beck doubled to right field. So the first hit of the game was in the bottom of the second, and I think it was Jordan Beck, right? Jordan Beck. Yep, Jordan Beck. So the bottom of the second, Jordan Beck doubled to right for the first hit of the game. In the top of the third, in the third inning, there was no offense generated from both teams. As well in the fourth inning. However, in the top of the fifth, forgot about this. Bryce Harper did get ejected from the game in the first inning. He was seen. Hold on. In the first inning, he was ejected from the game. This was a big setback for the Phillies last night. He, after striking out on a curveball that he swung and missed, he dropped his bat and threw his helmet. He said something to Brian Walsh, the home plate umpire, and was immediately ejected from the game. Harper and Phillies manager Rob Thompson argued to no avail following Harper's 21st big league ejection. Harper had called a timeout after the 0-1 pitch, a borderline sinker that did appear to be low inside. And home plate umpire Brian Walsh did make some questionable calls throughout the game behind the plate. Christopher Sanchez did start for the Phillies, along with Ty Block, who started for the Rockies. And in the fifth inning, Nick Castellanos hit a solo home run to center 445 feet, as well as Amundo Sosa, who also hit another home run 338 feet to put the Phillies in the lead 2-1. 2-0. And then in the bottom of the fifth, Rockies, Tovar singled to center. Hunter Goodman scored and moved Trejo to second, which did put the Rockies on the board 2-1. And in the 6th inning, there was no really offense generated. However, bottom of the 6th, Orion Kirkering went on to pitch for Philadelphia. And Castellanos grounded out to second in the 7th. There was no offense generated except a walk, which Murrayfield did walk. And then Colorado did get a new pitcher for Karastri. And then in the top of the 8th, no offense was generated. No offense was generated in the bottom of the 8th. Top of the 9th, the Phillies went 1-2-3, and bottom of the 9th, the Rockies hit a home run. In the bottom of the 9th, the Rockies hit a home run. It was a pinch hitter, Jacob Stallings. He hit, think he hit 427 feet home run to left center off of Jose Alvarado. And then in extra innings, no off. Marsh hit for Sosa. Cave was in right field, and moved McMahon at third base. Marsh struck out. Merrifield walked. Clemens pinch hit for Pache. Clemens singled to center. It moved Merrifield to second. Stopped to third with the bases loaded. Schwarber was up next, and he struck out. As well, on the next batter, JT Realmuto grounded out to first. In the bottom of the 10th, Stott is at shortstop, Marsh is in left field, and Clemens is at second base. Diaz was intentionally walked for the Rockies. Bryant struck out swinging. Montero grounded into fielder's choice to shortstop. Diaz was out at second. Rogers to third. Montero did score on Montero went to second on fielder's indifference, and Doyle flied out to right. On top of the 11th, the Phillies went 1-2-3. In the bottom of the 11th, the Rockies, Beck was intentionally walked. Jake Cave struck out swinging. Mon was walked. Beck was to second. Doyle to third. With the bases loaded, Tovar singled to left, which Doyle scored. McClellan to second, and Beck moved to third. And then the Rockies won the game 3-2. However, the Phillies still have one of the best records in baseball right now. The Phillies have won 29 of their last 35 games. That's their best 35 game span within a season since 1892. Their goal is to win the World Series for the first time since 2008. The team has been to the World Series and NLCS in consecutive seasons and is clearly motivated to get back to that level again in October. Ranger Suarez is currently the favorite for the National League Cy Young Award, while Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler also help give Philly a dynamite 1-2-3 starting rotation. With all of these factors, the Phillies should continue to put up excellent numbers throughout the rest of the season. They are currently on pace to tie the Major League wins record in a season of 116 wins set by the 2001 Seattle Mariners and the 1906 Chicago Cubs. Let's go to the Sixers. The Sixers offseason are making some big moves in the draft this offseason. The Sixers are preparing to make upgrades around their star duo of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey to make a run in the Eastern Conference. President of Basketball Operations, Daryl Morey, has put the team in a prime position to make a big move this off season. Um, The Sixers have the number 16 pick in the 2024 NBA draft, and there are options if Philadelphia decides to make the selection. However, some believe Philadelphia should make the pick and build young pieces around Embiid. However, with the fact that the Sixers are in a championship window right now, Morey has to consider trading the pick. Morey stated it sounds like the Sixers will certainly trade this pick. It makes a ton of sense to do so, considering their current state and Morey's tendency to move picks for win-now players. While there are some options at the 16th pick, the Sixers should consider, such as Devin Carter, Kyle Filipowski, and others. These guys are not contributing to an NBA title right away. Morey and the Sixers should look for moving the pick for a player who can help them out now while the window is still open. There are I don't think there's any trade rumors right now for the Sixers. But they are looking for players who have been already in the league. Uh they did sign Kyle Lowry. I think he'll be a huge help, especially if he has one of his better seasons next year. All right. Let's go to the Flyers. So, in the NHL draft, the Flyers picked last year. Flyers had a prospect, Matev A. Mechikov, who could be in the NHL as soon as this summer. Um, he played in Russia for HK Sochi, and he was recently left off the Russian U-25 national team. The Flyers' 7th overall pick is more talented than any of his peers on both squads. Um, in the Russian Hockey League, the KHL, he appeared in 47 games for Sochi last season, scoring 19 goals and 22 assists in only 47 games. However, he did miss. Sochi did, however, miss the playoffs by a comfortable margin, something the Flyers hope they won't do much once Michkov finally arrives in North America. So that's going to be it for episode 2 of the Philly Sports Podcast. Make sure to subscribe and like. So yeah, thank you for watching or listening.